What's worth buying vintage?
Everything.
So, how did you come up with the name KarenBritChick?
That's actually a good question. I came up with the name because my name is actually Karen. Brit for short for British, and chicken? No. Because it's like a chick, like a woman, chick, you know, so KarenBritChick. And I just thought it sounded cute, KarenBritChick. Has like a ring to it. By the way, do you know that, actually maybe you do, I'm not sure if you guys know, but somebody stopped me once and they said they actually thought my name was KarenBritChick. Like,
Well, I've heard people yell out KarenBritChick from across the street. And of course, we're
But that's
all going to turn
different.
heads.
But that's different because that's a username. But
somebody said it was your actual name.
That was my birth name. I have no words.
Okay. So now you have to tell me about your worst Fashion Week experience. I mean, with all of the things that you've
We're going
done.
there. I keep thinking about the Roberto Cavalli in Milan. You know, when we were almost late.
When we ran.
Yeah. I just keep
You were
thinking
gonna
about
pay-
that
or
one.
I was going to pay a cyclist.
Yeah. Oh, this is such a good story. I'll try and make it quite short, but this is a brilliant story. And I feel like this is my worst. Oh, actually, no, missing the Altazora show, that was the worst. Because if you miss a show, and that was my dream show at the time, it still is a dream show. I love Altazora. They're such a cool brand. They're just like the cool New York woman. And I love, like I said, their shows. I'll show you on the screen some of the footage from the shows I've gone to in the past with them. But everything is so cool. Let me know if you agree. But they invited me. This was the very, very first time. And I'd never been to any of their shows at this time. That's important to know, which is why it was the worst, because I got there too late. I got there on time, but the photographers, they have a lot of photographers outside, and they were shooting me. And you usually do stop to take photos. The show was said it starts at noon. Now, I got to preface this by saying that 9 times out of 10, if not 99% of the time, whichever way you want to look at it, shows always start late.
True.
Always. Usually average about 25 minutes late. That's an average across any city. They're just always late. They never start at 12 or 12:05 or 12:10.
This one did.
Well, this one did, didn't it? So I walked in at 12 thinking, I was like, okay, we got to go in because Michael was there. I said, oh, look, it's 12, we've got to go in, let's go in. And then there was nobody in the lobby. And I thought,
Yeah, there was somebody
that was
there
the first
with a
sign.
clipboard by herself with a little thing going, yep, you could start the show.
Yeah, so I missed the show. I was so annoyed, and they said, I'm sorry, the doors are closed, we can't let anyone else, I'm so sorry.
I felt bad.
I felt awful, and I just thought, they'll never invite me again.
I know.
And that was like a dream. I know this is like first world problems, but for me in fashion, I've grown up loving it. This meant a lot to be able to get access to a brand, that I've always loved. But another one was a Cavalli, which is more funny. Now, I almost missed this show. So I was in Milan, right, doing Milan Fashion Week. We're in a car in traffic,
So hold on.
rental car.
So now
and
I have to preface the question. What was your funniest Fashion Week experience?
Yeah, this is good. We got a call on the phone, and it was inviting me to the Roberto Cavalli show that day, that
Last
evening.
minute,
And they were saying, "Where are you, Karen?" I'm in wherever in Milan in traffic. How soon can you get to you've been invited to the Roberto Cavalli show. How soon can you get there? I don't have anything to wear. I've got to go back I'm dressed very casually. I've got to go back to the hotel. We had approximately an hour and a half before the show was to start. And we were some random area in Milan.
Thank goodness Michael was driving.
Thank goodness. So we hoofed it back home, back to the hotel. I flung on something, because I always have spares just in case type outfits. So I wore what I felt was Cavalli looking. It was a pair of like high heel. I never forget. I'll see if I can insert on the screen as well. I had a pair of like these skyscraper like Versace heels. I don't even own those anymore. I gave them to Vestia Collective. So I had those, and I was wearing like a short dress. Anyway, it's a combination I wouldn't do anymore. Oh, how quickly things change. Got in the car. The traffic was horrendous.
It was gridlock.
It was, right, it literally was. It was so bad. Drivers were getting out of their cars and chatting to each other. That means you're going nowhere. A scooter pulled up next to us. It's Milan, right? Europe, they have a lot of scooters. Michael had me wind the window down. Scusi. He looks over with his helmet. Michael offered him money. He said, no, first he didn't. First you said, can you, we tried to explain. I didn't even know if he even understood. He understood because he said no.
Right.
But we basically were trying to say, I have to go, can you just take me, is it possible I'll give you money just to go straight down this road? Please,
Just
please,
my wife,
please.
just take her.
Yeah, just me. And he was like, no. Michael wasn't taking no for an answer, was it? So he was like pulling out money. Oh, I felt so embarrassed. I felt like I was being hoed out. So he was pulling out money.
The opposite way, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway.
God, stop. So, yeah, so he was offering him money. He said, I'll pay you. And he was like showing him the money. And he was just looking at the money.
Contemplated.
Yeah, and he went, no. So we were like, oh, I'm screwed. So we ended up just crawling in traffic. The time was now literally 15 minutes before the show had to start, and we were a good mile away. We were so far away, and I thought, I'm screwed. I'm not going to get into this Cavalli show, my first ever, another first. And this was at the time a bucket list show for me in Milan to go to, because I wasn't confirmed for anything major show wise. And I suddenly got, imagine if you were called all of a sudden and said, you're invited to, I don't know, the Loewe show or the Dior show. You would probably drop everything too and say like, right, I'm out, just to get there. So I got out, I had sneakers. Thank goodness. I had sneakers on and I held the heels, the Versace heels, got out the car, said, Michael, it's gonna be fast if I run. I ran. So I ran with heels in my hand, wearing sneakers and just ran. I had to stop, run. Eventually I got there, the show had already started, I could hear the music. I could hear music playing. I thought, oh no. So I was like texting the person who called to say you've been invited to the show and said, hold on, see if I can do anything. I was thinking, it's too late, I can hear music. The security is saying, no, you can't go in, everything started. And this was pitch black by then. Somebody came from outside, I still cannot believe this to this day, and yelled in a Milan Italian accent, Karen? And I said, yes. And I was like waving my hand, and he came through. That person it was a woman, came through, past the security, grabbed my arm and pulled me in and said, the show has already started, but just stand by the photographers. And that's exactly what happened. So I got to see the show. Couldn't believe it. It had already started. I don't think that would ever happen again. Nowhere allows you to sneak in when a show has already started. When it started,
It's very strict.
It's you're done. You're either in or you're out. That's it.
What is your first luxury purchase? Now, take it back. Go all the way back.
Yeah.
But your first luxury purchase.
My first luxury purchase was, and I don't have it anymore. I wish I did, because you know how it is. It's always the sentimental value, and the patina of it right now would be insane. And it's a bag that if I had it now, I would never sell it. But I really wish I kept it. It was a Louis Vuitton Speedy, size 25.
I thought that was the one she was going to make.
Yeah.
I've heard this story.
Yeah, that was a very, very first, and in the canvas one. And I wasn't in New York yet. I hadn't met you yet. I don't even know how I came across to buy it, but anyway, the opportunity came out to get the bag, and I bought it, and I just remember thinking, this is amazing, and I just loved everything about it. Did I hold on to it though? No, but at the time you don't know, but I really wish I had, future me looking back on past me. Because I know that bag would, like I said, it would look amazing. Because you know how the handle's patina.
Plus, it's sentimental.
Sentimental. I'll be able to always pull it out and go, this was the first,
So the next question that I have for Karen is, what is your most regretted purchase?
My most regretted purchase was a pre-loved Hermes Kelly, size 25 orange, because of how much I spent on it.
Aww.
I was just wrapped up in the whole orange Kelly phase, and I was determined. It was at the height of being one of the most sought after colours. And I really wanted an orange Kelly, and finding a size 25 in it was just near impossible. All you were seeing was really 32, maybe a 28, but not a 25. And then I found one that what goes around comes around. They had an event, and there was one there. And I loved the way the assistant was styling it, because he was attaching another bag to it. But not even that, it was just the bag itself. I loved the colour of it, and I thought I just got captivated. And that was a very good year for me in terms of like business and work. And I thought, oh, this is a treat. Yeah, treat yourself, Karen, treat yourself. It's Christmas time, treat yourself, you know. And I paid over retail for it, a lot over retail. I'm not going to say how much I spent because I don't want anyone in the comments say, oh my God, you spent how much for a bag? Point is, I spent too much for it. And no one's going to know. No one. Only what goes around comes around knows.
Clearly, I don't know.
And this was about 3 years ago. So it's been a while.
That would be your most regretted purchase.
And it was my most regretted purchase because I hardly wore it. And that's it. That's enough of a reason in itself. I hardly wore it because I think whatever you pay for something, as long as you get your wear out of it and because it's you're going to get your money back over time. You just will because you just love it. You use it. It's you. It's et cetera, et cetera. It was the exact opposite with this bag. So yeah, now I am listing it and it's with The Real, and it's literally there right now, listed with them to sell. But because so. And I'm not going to get back my money. And so that is my most regretted purchase financially. And also B, just the fact I just wasn't wearing it. You could even take the money situation out. I just wasn't wearing it. And I think that in itself that to me makes most things, at least for me, highly regretted purchase. And the less I wear something I have, the more I regret that purchase because it's like, why did you buy it in the first place? Let me know if you can relate to that last part that I just said right there.
So the lesson is purge.
Purge, but no, actually it's about purchasing. So the lesson really is think about what you're going to buy because that was a knee-jerk purchase. It was spontaneous. It wasn't planned.
Good point.
It wasn't. I didn't leave for that day or that evening thinking I was going to come home with an orange Kelly bag.
You always have to think about what is your, cost per wear, as you call it.
Cost per wear,
you got to make sure if you're going to spend a lot of money on something, you wear it.
Yeah, and it really is something you're going to wear. You're not just buying it because you're just caught up in the moment. And I was literally caught up in that moment.
It's like a vanity purchase.
It kind of is, I suppose. Yeah. And I think, this is a judgment-free zone, but I think that we all can, to a lesser or greater degree, fall guilty.
I was going to say, we could all fall into that.
To that. And that happened to me. So that was my biggest, that was my regret.
Next question I have for you, which you should be able to relate to. But how did YouTube change fashion? There's so many creators out there now that are representing sort of fashion from a, career perspective. I'm not sure the way people wear fashion.
I think a couple of things. It kind of democratized it because you instantly got relatability on YouTube. I mean, you got both ends of the spectrum. You got people who you could relate to and you got people who you can't relate to, but you just choose who you do. But I think, like I just said, I think it just made it more accessible because you find your tribe. You find that person who feels most like you, and then that viewer is able to see themselves, I think, in somebody. And it can also make it, I think it makes fashion, it brings a personality. It adds a personality, a face to it. Because Instagram is primarily a curation of, an image. TikTok came out relatively new, but we're focused on YouTube. So I think YouTube, in a sense of TikTok, but it's a longer form here, obviously, on YouTube. It just gave, like I said, a personality to fashion. It adds a face to it so that you can get closer to it. Because now you're having opportunities of people who, whether they do vlogs, going shopping and taking you with them, tons of how-to videos, same with the makeup industry. How to style things, how to put this together, how to do that together. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what YouTube has done for fashion industry. It's just made it much more, almost like a TV show, but a relatable sit-down thing that you can truly digest. And almost like a digital magazine. When you think of like publications like Sheer Luxe, they have done like I said, a digital magazine version of their channel, which is on YouTube. So I think YouTube has just made it a more accessible to the masses. And even luxury, just to add to that point, even luxury houses, they also have a YouTube channel. Gucci does, Dior does, Chanel does. But also they have, I forgot his name, Loeck, I believe his name is. I'll put his name on the screen. He goes to all the major shows like the ones I just mentioned. and he's able to shoot not just the runway, but he shoots behind as well. So the whole BTS and talking to the designers, talking to the models, talking to the people attending. So the street style as well. You know, you're getting to see people for the first time who never maybe were ever spoken to before. And YouTube has given that platform for their voices to be heard, whether they're in the luxury space or whether they're just people walking down the street.
So it's basically kind of, from what it sounds like, it's taken the commercialization out of fashion and it's made it more personalized, relatable. People can get behind the scenes, start to understand how things are made, how things are produced, how the show goes.
Yes.
What's really behind all of this, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's what it did. It kind of opened that up and it changed the way people consume.
Exactly. And I think in doing so, it's another form of educating, yes, but it's also giving you that inspirational content as well. Because whether it's seeing how makeup artists apply makeup for a particular show, somebody sitting at home go, oh, I love the way they did that. I'm going to try that at home. Because you're actually watching video of people actually doing it and just getting opinions. Lots of opinions are, you know, chatting, whether it's us two or just anybody you watch on YouTube. You're getting to get their thoughts and discussions and interviews. And so it's brilliant. I think YouTube has just become this vehicle to really, like, overall personalize fashion and make it feel more accessible as well because of that. Connect. That's a good point.
What's worth buying vintage?
Everything.
As your closets already say.
I know. I'll try and make this, like, if I had to just pick one, what's worth buying vintage? Wow, it's actually difficult because there's so many things. I'm like trying to narrow it down to one thing. Bags.
Wow, it's almost like we were racing.
I know. Okay, so I thought I was being asked.
I know. I just was trying to read your mind.
Not cowboy boots, because they're a dime a dozen. Bags, a vintage bag, because it can be designer, but it doesn't have to be. If it is, there's the cost aspect of it, so it's going to be a lot less. But what's also so cool about vintage bags is they're having such a massive comeback now, vintage bags, to the point where design houses are what's the word I'm looking for? Reproducing, that's one word. Yeah. They're basically bringing back their archives. So
trying to replicate it.
Well, they're just bringing back their old bags. So like Balenciaga is talking a lot now about their Balenciaga City bag. You've got, Loewe has kind of reimagined a little bit their Loewe. Fendi has brought back their baguette bag. So they've just brought back a limited edition of some of their archival bags. It's so funny because one of them I actually own. Because this is a good example of the design house bringing back, you know, one of their old bags, which is the Sex and the City, they call it, purple sequined bag, which is insane. We managed to track it down, or I tracked it down in Paris. I'm so glad. Yes, such a nice guy. I think his name was David. He's so sweet. So I managed to pick this up. And so I was so happy because I've been searching for it. It's the one, like I said, that Carrie from Sex and the City made so famous. And it was just so great to be able to just get it reissued. That's the word I was looking for. They reissued it and I managed to get one. The handle is different. It's not the same as how it was the original version, but everything else about it feels close enough because it's the purple sequin. It actually has flecks of blue in it as well, which you might not be able to see, but it's really, really pretty. There's flecks of blue and purple, which is what gives that purple, that depth. It just makes it more two-dimensional. And then this is something that Fendi has actually just brought back, and it's not the exact bag, but I said this in, I think, in last week's video. They brought back one which is almost identical to it. I'll put it on the screen, where it's got like beading all over it, and it has like these 4 areas, 1, 2, 3, 4 of patterns. And I couldn't believe it, but this is the vintage version of it. So I will always say to invest, if you can, in a vintage bag. That'll be the number one purchase. Like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be designer. It could be any bag that you've got that is just a vintage a vintage bag because they're just made so much better. Like this one, for example, which I just love to wear during...
Don't get started on bags.
I know, which I love to wear during the fall and winter time. This croc, incredible bag that I found from one of the vintage pop-ups. I think it was Manhattan Vintage Show. It's just so cool. I just want to leave it on my shoulder now whilst I'm talking. As you can see, my answer is vintage bags.
Yes.
The quality, it was just better. Chanel, 24 karat gold for the hardware on the originals. Now Chanel has dropped the 24 karat gold plating. The quality, the designs, and this is across the board for all. Like I said, designer or not, they just don't make them like that anymore. Just like vintage cars, they don't make them like that anymore.
They just don't make them like they used to.
They don't. So that would be my number one answer is vintage bags.
Cool. What's the biggest mistake? No. What's the biggest mistake women make?
So what's the biggest style mistake?
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. What's the biggest style mistake that women make?
That rhymed. Biggest style mistake that women make. There's a few. So if I had to okay, yes, I have the answer. It's not dressing in a way that reflects them. Because there is an essence that everybody has.
I like that.
And I think your clothes should look like whatever that is.
Discovering your inner personal style. Because that's what I went through. And I think that's what you're referring to.
So is that flipping the question? I shouldn't because it's one way only. But is this... Well, we are calling this married to fashion, so it works both ways.
Kind of a discussion.
Is that how you feel about yourself? Like that was your style mistake?
Wouldn't say mistake. I think it's like the learning, the growing, learning about your own style.
Okay.
Discovering that. I think that's where people lose sight of that. People don't try and discover their own style. I think when you there you go. You got to make an effort to discover your own style. If you don't make an effort to discover your own style, you're just going to wear flip-flops, baseball shirt, baseball cap and a t-shirt.
Like you don't care.
Right.
Versus if you put an effort into...
You're trying to discover your own style, and by putting an effort, you're putting an effort into something that's going to reflect who you are.
Right, because that's ultimately what you want, which is what I said in the very beginning. So I think that's the biggest mistake a woman can make, or just people in general, man, woman, young, old. I think it's not kind of dressing in a way that reflects your own personal style. I think that's really what it is. I think that's really, that's ultimately, that's what it is. And I think that's why when I stop people on the street, I feel like the people who I'm stopping, they are dressing in their own, I'm sensing that they are dressing in their own style. This is this is their own style. Not anyone else's, it's their style.
And you can see it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to speak to them or engage with them. You can see it by the way they're dressed because they're wearing it, they're showing it.
Yeah, as I've always said, clothes is a way of saying who you are or style without you having to open your mouth. You don't have to say a word. So there you go.
Okay, so are designer clothes actually better?
Oh, wow. No, they're not better. It's not just because therefore they are. I think with designer clothes, it's more about buying into an aesthetic and a vibe, a look, the designer themselves. It's an aesthetic and it's a look. That's what it's the branding of it, obviously, as well. Not necessarily, because a lot of brands nowadays, they don't, especially if we're talking about ready-to-wear, sometimes you don't even know who the designer is. So like the average person on the street, if I was wearing this and this was by Dior, you wouldn't necessarily know that. So it's not even, in some people's cases, about the branding. It's more of a nuanced answer to that because, and this is speaking in general, I think that some people will just feel like, yeah, it's much better because it costs more, it's designer, therefore it is better. And they'll start walking around in designer clothes because of that, what I just said. But if you're asking me personally, I don't think it's necessarily a better thing because there's so many pieces, even like I just said earlier about vintage, you know, or just not even vintage. It's as good quality-wise and craftsmanship-wise. If you're talking about couture and, you know, all those kind of things, there's a different level. That's completely something else. That's another subject. I'm talking about ready-to-wear, more casual kind of clothing. But no, it's not necessarily better in a sense of it's necessarily a better style or a cut or a better quality. Because think about what happened with Wisdom on TikTok. I'm not sure if you know about that, but he bought a Miu Miu vest and as he was opening it, the zipper just came, like the handle broke off or something on the zipper and one of the buttons popped off when he was trying to just literally do an unboxing of it to show everyone what he got. And as he was like opening it to put it up, the button just popped off in his hand and he went back to the shop to get another one. And the next one he bought, he tried to do a follow-up, a part 2, and it also broke. Did you not know about that? Did you know about this?
That's crazy.
What, did you even know about this story about Wisdom?
I knew about the story. I didn't know about the second part.
Yeah, he went back. He went back to the store, complained. So they turned around and like, okay, sorry, you know, they gave, well, I don't know, it wasn't there if they said sorry.
Pulled it from the same
but they got another one for it. But what is so strange, and people in the comments were saying, and I was thinking the same thing, if you are the PR of the brand, aren't you going to double, triple, quadruple, 5 ripple, 6 ripple, 7th, 10th ripple check to make sure that whatever you give him next is going to be 100% perfect? God. Because he has a massive following on every platform and clearly he's
I would have super glued that thing on before I sent it. I would have super glued every one of those buttons behind it just to make sure that wouldn't come off.
But yeah, I agree. But anyway, yeah, so the part 2, same thing happened. So the point I'm trying to make is, when you say, is it better? No. Short answer is no. It's an aesthetic that you're buying into. Yes, branding comes into it. Obviously, it does. Can't say, I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't because it does. But at the end of the day, it's not better.
Now, I will make a counter argument. There are certain brands where you notice the quality difference and the fabrics that they choose, the way it's put together, the craftsmanship behind certain things. When I talk about fabrics, I'm talking about where we've gone into...
Tom Brown. Oh my goodness.
That there in itself, just so you could look at something, but then to touch it and to feel it and then understand.
Your head just...
There's a whole nother, plus the craftsmanship of the way it's made.
It's incredible.
And the level of detail, and it's just beautiful stuff.
I never knew that you could construct like this until we went to Tom Brown Reese's. I had no idea. I mean, seeing the clothes on the runway is incredible. I love it because that's where you get to experience the true dream of what the designer was. You get to experience exactly how the presentation of it is in their mind. And that's incredible. And I will always, always appreciate that. But for example, like we're saying, Tom Brown, you cannot explain the quality of the construction of some of those coats, those jackets. He has coats. I remember I actually said it to them at the time. This looks like a coat that's been exploded, frozen, and it's just left like that and constructed in an exploded state.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
It's incredible. The lining, the stitching, the way they weave fabric, the way they use different treatments, whether it's painted or metallics, and it's just a level of craftsmanship that is just mind-blowing. And it's truly, as somebody who loves menswear, I've never felt so inspired to see how far you can take tailoring. So having said all of that in the beginning, I will still, and I'm so glad you said that because I didn't remember that. There are still designers who do truly create incredible things. Yes. Dior and Chanel, I know these are the two biggest names in luxury, but some of their clothing, when you do see it in terms of like the couture level and, you know, métier d'art for Chanel, you know, you see the it's unexplainable, the workmanship. And had I not experienced Fashion Week, I would not say anything like this because I don't know. You know, I'd be on the flip side of this camera listening to somebody saying all of this. I'd be like this, you know, going, yeah, okay, yeah, you're just saying that because, you're going to the shows. I'm not. I'm so glad you're there to back me up because I'm not BSing. I have not seen construction like that ever. I didn't know clothes could do that. I think that's the best way to put it. So yes, you do not, it's kind of a double-ended answer. So I know I can't say one way or the other because it's true. Is it worth, you said, is it worth it or something in the very beginning, the question? Or are they better? That's what you said.
Yes.
I love how I'm doing your job for you.
Yeah.
No, it's not better. Certain designers where it actually is better. The quality is hands down better. But it doesn't mean you have to turn around and buy it.
Yeah,
I think that's
you just spoke
really
to it. There's quality there, so it's not technically better, but the quality is
insane.
So there's much better quality. So maybe I think, and I'm trying to restructure my own question, and I'm not trying to do that, but I'm just in conversation. People can get that same look and be inspired by
always, which
designers.
is great.
And
absolutely.
That's where you don't have to necessarily say that luxury is better, that you need to buy it. You can just be inspired by it.
Absolutely. And like we said before, you can have those mishaps where you've got those designers who come up with pieces where, the quality isn't there. But to Michael's point, so yeah.
Cool. You just mentioned so many books, because I asked Karen to actually give me refresh my memory of all these brands.
Of some brands. They just listed off a bunch.
And she just gave me a list. I've just glazed over and I went, I think I forgot every one of them she just mentioned. But no, you mentioned quite a few that I really like, but I can't say that there's a designer.
Okay. That is your favorite, or do you like?
Yeah, I love Bottega, right? Because when we go in a Bottega store, I love the furniture because they do that woven leather through everything. So that whole vibe, I like that about Bottega. So it's carried through their clothing, through their bags and everything. So that's a very signature, right, of them. It is. So I love them for that, right? Mm-hmm. Yoji, I think I just love because of his Japanese aesthetic. I love the way he designs for my frame, my body style, my frame.
That's why it looks good on you. Yeah, I agree. It does look really good on you.
And I like how casual it is. It's not very.
So who would be your dream show to go to attend? Max Mara, Ferragamo, Prada, Gucci, Dior, Chanel, Fendi, Rick Owens. I mean, you could just go on and on.
Love Tom Brown. Great shows.
So do you have a dream show to attend? That's the question. Is there a dream?
Dior would probably be a dream show because we went to the Risi recent, and seeing those pieces up close makes you look at it through a different lens. It's kind of like what I said before about just the difference between luxury and
the pieces.
You feel it, you see it, there's just something about it that just...
It's just again, to your point, as you said earlier, it's just the craftsmanship of the pieces and understanding the story and the inspiration as well behind what Jonathan was thinking. And Dior and Chanel, they were like two houses who have been around for so long, and they were in urgent need. Urgent is a strong word, but they really did they need a breath of fresh air, both of them. And that's exactly what they got with these two appointments for the Chanel and for Dior. But as we're talking about Dior, Jonathan did a fantastic job, I think, of completely changing the silhouette of Dior. Because before with Mary Grazia, it was all about dresses, just flared skirts. And it was like that. So he's completely, as his job probably was to do, brought in a completely new silhouette. He's completely modernized it, and I just love. Sorry, I'm speaking. The question was yours. Sorry, I feel like I've just taken over, which is really bad. Sorry, you go on.
Well, no, I was just going to say, since you're talking about Jonathan and Dior, just segue into Loewe. Now, I don't know what the future holds.
The current Loewe it still has its quirk. There is a quirk to Loewe which wasn't there even prior to Jonathan. It's
quirkiness.
It is, yeah. And I love that they have that with Loewe and that they've kind of kept it because that's their signature. Because I've always said that the sign of a good designer, if the pieces can go down the runway.
A good brand.
Or a good brand, correct. If the pieces can go down the runway and you're not told what show it is you're looking at, you should be able to identify what show that is. It's a bit like going to someone's home and you go into their wardrobe, you're like, That looks like Karen, this wardrobe. It's the same thing when you're looking at a runway.
This looks like Karen. Everywhere. It's all Karen.
No, but it's true. It's, no, right?
Oh, look, and there's Karen.
Anyway, I thought that was a very good point I was making.
Very good point.
You should be able to. There should be a signature.
Wow. All of that from one question.
I know. I'm sorry. I just took over that. I know. But it was just a very interesting question, if I do say so myself. I think that's it.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for
We hope you guys enjoyed
listening.
these questions.
I know. Yeah, it was kind of...
Answers.
It was kind of like both of us asking each other questions towards the end, because I mean, obviously it was Michael asking me. That was the whole point of doing this video, by the way. But then it switched into like, you know, me asking you a couple of questions and I jumped in. But anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, what we just did together. I did.
Hopefully you guys did.
I thought it was pretty cool.
And if you have any questions that you want me to ask Karen or Karen to ask me.
Yes. And we can do another one. So put the questions below. Both of us will be looking. I am on TikTok and Instagram at KarenBritChick. And do not forget, you can sign up to be a member. I do have a members only section to my YouTube channel. But the whole purpose of me doing this, like I've said before, is because I want to be able to go hands-free in having my videos just edited for me. So it's helping to fund that, better equipment, better quality videos, because somebody else who's better than me is editing those videos, which gives you a better experience. And thirdly of all, I'd love to be able to, as I've said, the dream is to be able to take my Street Style series globally. I'd love to be able to travel outside of New York. I do know I go to Paris as well, and I shoot a little bit when I'm there, if I have the time. That's if, because sometimes I go to Paris Fashion Week, I don't shoot anyone because I just don't have the time. But, or I don't make the time, let's put it that way. But I would love to be able to just hop on a plane and be able to go to, as I've said, Japan would be a place, parts of Europe, you know, and just do different episodes, but in the same style that I shoot. So that's what I'm hoping having a membership paid section only will help towards, you know, doing one day. You never know. Listen, you never know.
There you go.
As I said before, episode 37, What Everyone is Wearing New York, I have now started doing those episodes again. So if you've not seen it, leave it in the description box. I have a playlist as well of it. I'll put the playlist in the description box as well, and I'll try and put it in the pinned comment. So you can just watch episode 37 and just watch all the others that's before it, but at once a month. So the first episode coming back was up 2 weeks ago. You'll see the next one in June, which is this month. Another episode 38. Anyway, I'll talk to you later, my loves. Bye.
Yep. Bye.